And if you'll remember from part one, we left off talking about Greenland Norse, the Vikings, Christendom, and their Europeanness, and how these two things ultimately contributed to their decline. And we pick it up here. Henry Thoreau, the American philosopher, once said about people who slavishly adopt the latest European styles: the head monkey at Paris puts on a traveler's cap, and all the monkeys in America do the same. You can just imagine Viking men and women wearing the latest fashion trends from Europe, as opposed to adapting, adjusting, and accounting for the needs of their immediate conditions. For instance, those clothes of the last Vikings included, for women, a long, low-necked gown with a narrow waist, and for men, a sporty coat, which was a long, loose outer garment held in by a belt with loose sleeves. Neither of these are obviously the most practical choices given their climate. Additionally, this self-image as Christian and European prevented the Vikings from truly forming relations with the other inhabitants of Greenland, the Inuit, who hunted in the same waters as the Vikings. This refusal to form relations ultimately cost the Vikings techniques and technologies that would have helped them to survive on the island. The Inuit represented the climax of thousands of years of cultural developments by Arctic peoples, learning to master Arctic conditions. For instance, so what that Greenland had little wood available for building, heating, or illuminating houses during the months of winter darkness? That was no problem for the Inuit. They built igloos out of snow, and they burned whale and seal blubber both for fuel and for lighting lamps. No wood available for making boats? Again, not a problem. They stretched sealskin over frameworks to build kayaks as well as hunting boats big enough and sturdy enough to go after whales in unprotected waters. Additionally, and this should go without saying, but it's not an easy thing to take down a whale. In fact, it's a lengthy and hugely complicated process, but one that the Inuit had mastered and one that allowed for them to subsist. You would think that the Vikings would be interested to trade with and to learn about the techniques used by the Inuit, but thanks to their identities, they had little contact with the Inuit, and the contact they did have was not particularly kind from the Viking side. In one passage, written in the middle of the 15th century, the Inuit are referred to by the Vikings exclusively as, and I quote, wretches. From the sound of it, the Vikings weren't all too kind to their Inuit neighbors. The Vikings, like other medieval European Christians, scorned pagan non-European peoples and lacked the experience of how to best deal with them. As such, the Vikings refused to learn from the Inuit and probably behaved towards them in ways ensuring the Inuits' hostility. All these adoptions of European styles and outright shunning of the Inuit make it obvious that the Vikings wanted to clearly express to the world that they were Christian Europeans, not to be confused with the Inuit. This, of course, would be innocent had it not been so tragic, as it prevented them from making the lifestyle changes necessary to survive. Vikings did not enter Greenland with their minds a blank slate, open to considering any solution to Greenland's problems. Instead, they arrived with their own knowledge, their own cultural values, and their own preferred lifestyle. They thought of themselves as dairy farmers, as Christians, as Europeans. It's a lesson that can be seen throughout history. The values to which people cling most stubbornly under inappropriate conditions are those values that were previously the source of their greatest triumphs. Unfortunately, such stubbornness often ends in tragedy when conditions change. Thanks, guys.